4 years and countless deadline extensions later, and the no-deal Brexit is still possible. Now, Europe's companies are pulling out of the drawer the contingency plans that they hoped will never be needed. In the political tussle over Britain's exit from the European Union, there have been a ton of last-minute deadline extensions over the past 4 years, amid the turmoil a no-deal Brexit would bring. Many business leaders have now realized that they cannot rely on this to happen again. The UK has said it is violating international law and is not abiding by parts of the withdrawal agreement signed in January. While an agreement is still possible, companies are now preparing for their base scenario. They stock up and pull out contingency plans that they hoped will never be needed. But don't misunderstand anything. The plans are prepared for a long time already. They just hope they won't have to come into action. BMW, which manufactures the Mini and Rolls-Royce in the UK, has drawn up plans to secure supplies for its Mini production facility in Oxford. Around 120 trucks bring components from around 400 European companies there every day. That's at least the plan. But if you think about Farage Garage and the hope that these 120 trucks a day will arrive, okay, so nothing is secure about this location, because I doubt that this plan will even work. The aircraft manufacturer Airbus, who relies on the smooth movement of goods between its locations in France, Germany, Spain and the UK, has resumed its weekly Brexit crisis management meetings and has already invested tens of millions of euros in building up stocks to prevent a shortage. In the financial sector, the French BNP Paribas is relocating some of its sales positions from Great Britain to the continent, as these employees are no longer allowed to market services to EU customers. UK banks are informed certain customers in the EU that their accounts will be closed and their credit cards invalidated. For no country there is more at stake than for Germany, Europe's largest exporter. Last year, Great Britain bought goods from Germany for almost $85 billion, more than from any other country in the world. But that is not as much as it was before 2016. Around 460,000 jobs in Europe's largest economy are dependent on exports to Great Britain, the Institute for Employment Research said this week. At an event last week for 40 corporate decision makers, the topics on the agenda were tariffs for everything from Mercedes-Benz sedans to Bayer drugs, as well as the end of the uniform regulations that could affect the supply chains of chemical producers such as BASF. They are in my hometown, by the way. They discussed how to handle UK customers' data and the risk of deliveries getting stuck after January 1st. On the same day, the government in London warned that in a realistic worst-case scenario, 7,000 trucks could jam in England. The auto industry is particularly affected. The Association of the Automotive Industry also met in Germany. In a 2-hour virtual conference, the members were informed about topics such as customs duties, logistics, and the free movement of workers. In the event of a no-deal Brexit, the European auto industry would lose about 110 billion euros in trade by 2025. 24 of the auto industry groups said last week. If there is no agreement by the end of the year, the companies would have to act under the non-preferential rules of the World Trade Organization, which provide for tariffs of 10% for cars and up to 22% for delivery vehicles and trucks. These surcharges are significantly higher than the profit margin of the most manufacturers. The tariffs would almost certainly have to be passed on to the consumers, which would make vehicles more expensive, reduce choice and reduce demand, the group said. That would make production more expensive or lead to more imports of components from other competitive countries. When assembling a Mini in Oxford, BMW uses car parts from across the continent, such as windscreens from Germany and roof panels from Italy. 8 out of 10 Mini and Rolls-Royce produced in Great Britain are exported, more than half of them to EU countries. This could mean that BMW would face tariffs on imports of cars and exports of cars. Many export-oriented medium-sized companies also have their nerves on edge. In the past few weeks, they have requested more information from the British Chamber of Commerce in Germany, said Ilka Hartmann, the head of the organization. The insecurity affects everyone, she explained. The chances of a meaningful agreement that is not just an emergency measure decrease with each passing day. But before someone comes up with that old claim again, the German car manufacturers won't pressure Angela Merkel to agree to everything to get a deal with the UK to prevent all this. The damage would be much more devastating for them if the EU gives in to the UK's demand and destroys the single market with it. The single market is by far more important to these companies than the UK market. And if you now want to know more about European or global politics, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here for you in the end screen, right next to your chance to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!